So, yeah, well, most definitely. There's one other question that we had talked about previously in email that I find so interesting, and I will admit that I just love to pick on this subject because it's a horribly offensive thing that's going on, and that is this way that religion protects its own, particularly when we're talking about, for example, pedophile priests.
Right.
And how, not only are they obsessed with sex, but how the religion has taken that obsession with sex to both, from my point of view, create these monsters and then protect them.
Right. Well, in the book I talk about vectors, and a mosquito is a vector for a disease. A minister is a vector for religion. Look at Ted Haggard, for example. The man was bringing in millions of dollars and thousands of people. You protect that vector. That's an important component for the God virus. So the God virus can protect that very carefully. It takes over 8 years to get a priest up and running. 8 years, that's a lot of investment. So you're not...
I've had cars worse than that.
So if after 8 years, you're not going to just throw that person out, you're going to transfer him to the next parish. Even though he's molested half a dozen people, you're going to transfer him to the next parish because you can't replace him. They're difficult to replace. Vectors are very expensive to develop, and they're very valuable to the God virus. Without vectors, the God virus dies. So that's when you look at it from a viral standpoint, now suddenly you realize that's why they protect priests. That's why Ted Haggard got protected. That's why Jimmy Swaggart. That's why Benny Hinn has probably, those kinds of people have condemned divorce, and yet they get divorced. The early one, the woman, Annie...
Jim and Tammy Faye Baker?
No. Way back in the 20s.
Before my time.
Amy Semple McPherson.
I'm not that old.
Amy Semple McPherson in the teens and 20s was preaching dead, horrible, divorce. And what happened? She gets divorced. Did that stop her? No. She kept right on going.
Yeah.
It never stops because you protect the vector. That's the most important thing.
Yeah. And then there's also, in protecting the vector, you're protecting the belief, right? Because
you're protecting the God virus.
Yeah, because because what the next step could be, if someone sees, say, a disgraced priest or something, the next step could then be questioning the belief, questioning the God virus. Right. Well, maybe there isn't this benign divine being out there taking care of all of this stuff if he's allowing horrible little children to be molested.
Sure.
So immediately you come out with let's keep this under wraps, and so it works on many levels.
Absolutely.
In terms of that
multiple levels.
self-defense mechanism.
You're right. Yeah.
So we've got 2 callers, although I have no idea who they are, and we'll do what we can to possibly get to them before we're done. But before then, I want to go back to this website and program that you started. For those who missed the website earlier on, it's recoveringreligionists.com. This is an idea that I think we really need. You said there's already a number of groups that
20. We've got 20 groups across. We've got them from San Diego to New York City, from Atlanta, Georgia. We've got 3 in Kansas City, where I live, and they're just popping up all over. We've got a new one in Dallas, Texas. It's only been going a couple months. We've got a new one starting in Albuquerque next month. They're just local people who are interested in helping get this going, and all they need to do is contact me. I will interact with them by email, by phone. I'll do whatever I need to do to help them get a group started in their area. And there's no major requirements needed. You don't have to be a shrink or anything like that. You just have to be somebody who wants to help people get out of religion.
We get a number of emails from people talking about, what do I do now? And please, give me some advice in this area. Or how do I deal, I've been married to this woman for 20 years. We've got 3 kids, and all of a sudden I'm now a non-believer, and she remains a believer. What do we do about our kids? Is our marriage going to survive? And I am single and have no kids.
So that's a Russell show.
Yeah. So it's not always, I'm not always able to give the best advice, so it's great to know. There's the website at the bottom of the screen. You can visit that. If there's not already a group in your area, start one. Contact them. The best thing you can do is get with other people who are in similar situations. I'm happy to give you at least my thoughts on those situations, which, one of the things that I've told people who have changed and are in that situation I described is that you have to own up to that. You changed the nature of the relationship. It doesn't mean there's fault there, but you have changed the nature of the relationship, and therefore you're going to have to do the extra work to try and make this work and figure out what you need to do. But that doesn't mean that you get to get preached at or walked all over forever. It's not like that you've been shackled into this and you're stuck. Yeah. And having other people who have been in a similar situation to talk to, I think, is a great idea. So thanks for starting that. And we hope to hear more from other groups starting around the country as well. We'll try and get at least one more call in real quick. We got Dave in Washington, D.C. How are you?
Hi. I'm glad I was actually able to catch the show here. The stream's been messing up tonight.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Two things. Well, one for your guest, Dr. Ray. I was curious in looking over your summary. I'm afraid I haven't been able to get a hold of the book. Just been kind of reading internet summaries on it. Do you think that it's better for more attention to be placed on inoculation as opposed to going after the vectors? It just kind of seems pointless to be going after vectors, in my opinion.
Well, you know, if they raise their head and are a good shooting target, I think it's fine. What's wrong with calling Ted Haggard out over his hypocrisy, or Benny Hinn over his hypocrisy? I'm okay with that. I don't have any problem with it. Is that what you're asking?
Well, it doesn't seem to do anything. You know, they hide out, and then you get the same people coming back again.
Oh, I agree. It may not do anything, but I don't think we should stop calling people out on the hypocrisy that they've got. I have no problems with that. On the other side of your question, should we put our efforts into cure? I think there's a lot we can be doing, into prevention. A lot we can be doing there. Obviously, starting with your own kids or with people you know that you have some influence over. Those are a good place to start. Another place to go is, how about your local school district? Are they allowing inappropriate religious things going on in school? Because quite frankly, things like abstinence-only programs are a Trojan horse for the religions to get into your school system. Mm-hmm. So I would be questioning abstinence only all the way. That's a good way to prevent the God virus from getting in.
The whole creationism, teach the controversy, evolution.
Yeah, right.
And the irony of using the word Trojan when describing this is not lost.
So if you've been listening earlier, I talked about the guilt cycle. Abstinence-only programs are designed to teach adolescents to feel guilty about natural, normal behavior, not to address it rationally in terms of consequences and developmental stuff, but to just flat be guilty about it. Just say no to sex. That's not an answer for adolescents. What's the purpose of all that? It's to teach the guilt cycle so that the God virus is more effectively infected, and your government is paying for that strategy.
I got to let you go, Dave. Thanks a lot for calling. We are completely out of time because we lose our 90 seconds every time. I want to take this as an opportunity here. Thank you very much for being on the show. I enjoyed it thoroughly. And you're welcome back anytime you're in town. Thanks, Martin. Next week I'll be on with Jeff D. There's the people who made this show work despite being canceled and preempted and shifted to having everything break down. Thanks to everybody who stayed up late with us. We'll see you again next Sunday at 4:30 on Channel 16 and everywhere on the interwebs. Bye-bye.